Hey, what's up, good people? Welcome to another episode of the DLLS Cowboys podcast. Jeff is gone, so you got the misfits. The inmates are running the asylum today. We got a jam-packed show today.
That's racist. That's racist. It's got to be racist. Got to be racist.
Probably got to be racist.
Black on black crime. Black on black crime. Right there.
We got the Black History Month edition of the Cowboys podcast. Today, we got a jam-packed show for you today. Jerry Jones has spoken, and he kind of gives you a layout of what was the reason why he changed his way of doing things this offseason in the coaching hire of Christian Parker. We talk about coaches on the hot seat. Is your Dallas Cowboys head coach on that list? And we open up the show after we introduce ourselves, but we're going to talk about just about this Super Bowl era window. But let's introduce ourselves. I am your host, Jesse Holly.
Be careful with that mic. Be careful with when you're doing that twerking and that mic where it is. I don't want it to slip. I don't want that mic to slip.
I said to myself, I gotta be careful about getting up because I got these little house shorts on, and that might have been.
Be careful with that mic.
That might have been a little bit. That might have been a little bit too much for what the TV wanted.
That
was some advertising that we wasn't ready. They ain't pay for that. They ain't pay for that pay-per-view.
You gonna get that mic pregnant.
That's pay-per-view right there. Joining me today is the messiness of the messiness. One of the greatest beat writers in the whole entire land, Clarence Pop Hill.
Listen, these men are just rough on me. Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow. Let's get this party started. So the thing I want to start the show today with Clarence is we just witnessed the Seattle Seahawks win the Super Bowl. And they basically won the Super Bowl with a journeyman quarterback, right? Like Sam Darnold, we knew what he was in the Jets, seeing ghosts. And then it was Carolina, it was Minnesota, it was San Francisco. I mean, this is a guy who's been on 5 teams in 8 NFL seasons, and he led the Seattle Seahawks to a Super Bowl this upcoming year. And one of the conversations that we always have, especially here in Dallas with Dak Prescott, the 30-year drought that we consistently talk about, the Jones family, is the window, right? The window. You won't let me live it down. I made my comments about the ceiling of Dak Prescott. I knew you were waiting to bring that up. So I'm an Eminem myself. I'm a 8 Mile myself, bringing up the conversation that Dak was a 4th-round quarterback. How much of game does he have left in his particular set of skills that he's acquired over a long period of time? But we talk about this Super Bowl window often. And I've been thinking about this since we left San Francisco. And I am at a place now where I think that window does not exist. It is not a real window. It is not a real window. I think that what we have now is, and you saw it with Seattle, if you really want to, you can. If you really want to make your window open, you can go and spend the necessary assets to do so. If you don't want your window to be open, you can do enough or less than enough for that window not to be open. And I just come to a place right now when I'm looking at the Cowboys, and I know that Jerry said that he's here for a good time, not a long time. And
that's not what he said. That's not what he said.
What he said?
That's the rap thing, man. Good time.
What he said?
Jerry don't know nothing about no good time and a long time, man. You can't be mixing your
colloquialism. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time.
He just said I don't have time to have a bad time.
No, that's what he said. I don't have time.
Good time and long time. What you tell your ladies, okay, baby?
I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
That's what you tell the ladies, man. What you tell your ladies? Valentine's Day weekend. That's what you tell your ladies, baby. I'm not here for Long time is a good time. That's
That's
what you tell your ladies, man. This is how the BET edition gets off. This is how we get off. This is how we start this thing up. You talking about a good time and a long time. What?
That's what Jerry said. That's what he meant. That's what he meant by that. he meant that by that. But I'm here to say I don't believe, because Dak Prescott and other quarterbacks, you like, if you there are coaches that are good enough that are taking aging quarterbacks, not so good quarterbacks who lack skill, who lack top tier talent, top end talent, and they're making something of it. So I have come to a place now. I don't believe the window is real anymore. To me, it's a myth.
You know, I can't let go of the long time, good time, because somebody told me that. Young lady told me that, man, I'm not here for a long time. It's a good time. Well, you know, I'm a good time. Okay, it's all good. It's about Happy Valentine's Day, ladies. Happy Valentine. All the ladies in the chat, happy Valentine's weekend. We love you. DLLS Sports love you. DLLS Cowboys love you. Clarence Till Hill love you. Thank you for being here. And all the men out there, happy Valentine's Day. I cannot have you talking about Dak and hack this window with that Romo shirt on. So you did this on your message, Jesse.
You know what?
You got that Romo shirt on. You got that Romo shirt on. Respect that. Respect for. I know what you're doing.
Which I actually designed and made this shirt and had this shirt for sale a couple of years ago. But
you making money out of Romo?
Huh?
Did Romo get a percentage?
He actually signed a couple for me to give away to people.
Yeah, you making money out of Romo. See, you ain't gonna never listen. That's why Dak can't win with you.
I like that.
That's why Dak can't win with you.
This was an accident, honestly. It was a clean shirt that I saw.
I'm just saying, clean shirt you saw. I'm just saying, you can't be talking about Dak's window with respect 9 on your chest.
Yeah, you still can respect him and still think that Dak has a window.
And we can respect Ford. Can you give Ford the respect he deserves?
The utmost respect. One of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League.
At the end of this season, he will own all the Cowboys records.
The reason why I don't believe the window any longer exists is because I do think Dak, if he wanted to, Dak could physically play another 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean his window is open? Dak's window, and this goes not just for Dak. To me, this goes for any other quarterback. The quarterback's window, the championship quarterback window, is as open as your ownership and your front office wants it to be. If your ownership and your front office want that window to truly be open, because here's the thing, this salary cap goes up every single year. Like this salary cap will be, was it close to $300 million this year, over $300 million this salary cap go around, and the numbers are consistently growing. I saw a thing the other day, and they did all 32 teams in the National Football League and what they're worth. Not one team in the National Football League is worth less than $5 billion with the B. Not one team. The NFL is printing money hand over fist. And so that only means the TV contracts and the streaming contracts, that this thing is only going to continue to grow, especially if you're going to add more teams in the future. They're trying to do international stuff. The money is going to continue to balloon out of this world. So to me, whether it's Dak or any other quarterback, the window is predicated on how your ownership group and front office group wants it to be. If they want the window open, they'll go spin like it. If they don't want the window open, then they won't spin like it.
It is on ownership. It's on ownership putting a team around them, but it always come back to Dak. Like, I'm glad you brought up Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold led them to a Super Bowl. Sam Darnold was awful on Sunday. Okay, he was awful on Sunday. He was awful on Sunday.
Sam Darnold.
Dak does not get to play average.
In our conversations, we always kept saying behind the scenes, this is the week that Sam Darnold turns into that turnover machine, and he didn't do it. He had 0 turnovers the entire playoffs. That's admirable.
That's fine. But my point again is he was average on Sunday. Okay, and I like these people in the chat because we bring up Dak because it's always about Dak. Cool G, when his best required, he don't show up. What else? Dak needs our team to be perfect. Dak wilts under pressure. Cool G. That's not true. None of that's true. Okay. And yes, Sam Darnold did not play great football. Ben Roethlisberger getting killed by his teammate right now. He was awful in the Super Bowl they won. He had like a 30 quarterback rating. But they got a defense. They got a complete team. If we have not learned anything,
with his Broncos
right
Super
when he
Bowl.
won,
Peyton Manning could throw the ball 15 yards down the field.
If we have learned anything, it takes a complete team. And the Dak's defense is giving up damn near 30 points a game in the playoffs. You cannot win that way. You see what these teams have done. The two teams that got in the Super Bowl, they have great defenses. So, yeah, the window is open. We got to stop putting it on the quarterback. We got to stop saying it's about Dak. Don't play his best when it matters most. He can play better. Of course he can play better. They all can play better. DeMarcus Lawrence and Michael Parsons didn't get no sacks, when they had playoff opportunities here. That all that's true, but so much the truth is the same about all the other guys. As much as Deron Bland and Diggs had interceptions during the season, they wasn't nowhere close to the ball when the playoff came. And I go back to that San Francisco game when Diggs dropped that pick in the end zone. He had a chance to turn that game. And I'm like, if you're not going to tackle, at least catch the pick. If you're not going to tackle the tight end, catch the pick. And so it's a whole team thing. You got to have everybody playing their best. So the window's open as long as you have a complete team and you got everybody on the same page, everybody ready to play their best and make up for deficiencies on the other side. But we got to stop making it about that.
And I'm
we
not
got
making
to stop that.
I
know you weren't. I know.
My conversation is about the window in general. Like, I'm watching the league as it's developing, and I do think coaching even matters to this because we're seeing now with certain quarterbacks and coaches is, would you like to have the number one overall pick type quarterback? Yeah, cool. The pedigree is there. The all the things that you want in a quarterback, the height, the mobility, the window, the arm to throw the ball into any type of window. Yes, you want those things. But I see quarterbacks now, like Jalen Hurts, for example. Jalen Hurts is not a top 10 quarterback in the league. He got 2 Super Bowls in the last 7-8 years, right? Yeah. Sam Darnold got a Super Bowl. I mean, you take Brock Purdy, and he's gotten at least those teams deep into playoff runs. Yeah. I mean, we see other quarterbacks, with less talent.
Other team. Let's see, because they always come back to the quarterback.
Right. What I'm saying is that we've seen other quarterbacks who have better teams and who have better coaches be able to manufacture better seasons. So I'm not saying it's all on Dak. I'm saying that the window is as open as your coaching staff makes it and as your front office makes. I don't think that, because people say, "Oh, this window is closed," and Dak, and I was victim of this, and I this would made me sit back and think about it. I was like, you know what, Dak isn't falling off a cliff in the next 3 to 5 years. Now, contracts, stuff like that. But if you want to put Dak in a playoff serious contender window, you can. If you want to put Dak in that conversation, you can, by building a great team around him, right? Because we saw Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl. I referenced this earlier.
Look at Bobby T right now. He's calling Dak a bum slayer. See, that's why we can't have real conversations around here. You can say Dak is not Tom Brady. He's not a damn buddy. I know, but this is the mindset. We're talking to these fans, and they got this mindset that Dak's a bum. That Dak can't. I mean, it drives me crazy. You're never going to be able to
change those people's mindsets, and that's fine. No, that's fine. I'm reading a great book called The Let Them Theory. Shout out to Mel Robbins. Right? Let them. Right. If that's what they want, let them. Let them believe that. Let them think that. Let them have that opinion. It is fine. But the facts of the matter is, we know what it is. The league knows what it is. You see the respect that he gets across the league. And do I want him to have ultimate success? Sure, absolutely. No one wants the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl more than we do. I keep telling y'all, business would be absolutely booming if we were the whole show at a Super Bowl because our team was there. But I just do believe, I just think, I no longer believe in the window. Now the way that this NFL is structured, with the salary cap growing, with the way that these coaches are being able to manipulate things in offense and defense, your window is as wide as your front office and your ownership wants it to be. All right. We'll take our first break of the show. When we come back, the Cowboys have went over 7 lanes and have changed the way that they've hired coaches. But do you think they might need a veteran coach on this staff? We'll talk about that and more coming up next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast.
Oh, hey guys, it's me. Let's talk about our friends at Mars Men. You know, I'm a 41-year-old man, and over the last several years, you start to notice as you get older, energy levels go down. Doing the same thing in the gym doesn't get you the same results with your body. You become a napper, things of that nature. Most guys start losing testosterone around age 30, about 1% every year after that. So hit up our friends at Mars Men so that they can help you out. Get stronger physical performance, recovery in the gym, consistent natural energy. That's what you get from our friends at Mars Men. And it's not like drinking a cup of coffee. It's more of a steadier sense of drive throughout the day. Supports healthy T levels, energy, and stamina. Using 8 natural, clinically dosed ingredients made in the USA, third-party tested. For a limited time, our listeners get 50% off for life, plus free shipping and 3 free gifts at mengotomars.com. Perfect way to kick off this year strong. Mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts at checkout. After the purchase, they're going to say, where'd you hear about us? Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Also, shout out to our friends at Prize Picks. It's simple to play. Download the Prize Picks app. And what you do is you say, I think somebody is going to have more or less than a projected stat in a game. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. You get your picks right, you can cash in. So you can pick from any of your favorite sports: basketball, baseball, hockey, UFC, soccer, college basketball, tennis, golf, esports, and more. And they've got a new feature. Prize Picks has early payouts. You get off to a hot start there. You got the option to cash out those winnings before a game even finishes. I love my Prize Picks app. Get that bad boy on your phone. And after you've downloaded the Prize Picks app, use the code DLLS. That'll get you $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DLLS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Get it on your phone. It's the Prize Picks app. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Welcome back to the Cowboys podcast, DLLS Cowboys podcast. Jeff, while he was just there on that commercial, is not with us today. This is the BET Black History Month edition. Your boy Jay Holly and Pop Hill. I like that Carl Kanai hat, man. Where'd you get that from?
Kanai, man, the man, the legend himself, Carl Kanai. He's from New York, moved to LA, started his brand. You know, he was it 70s, 80s? He was popping. Carl Kanai was all the rage.
In the 90s. He was popping.
90s, yeah. I can't remember when it was, but he was all the rage. Everybody had to have some Carl Kanai gear. He actually outfitted Coco Jones to sing the Black National Anthem at the Super Bowl. He's gonna send me some gear, man. I might get some Carl Kanai gear, Because
I'll give you a quick funny story from the Super Bowl before we get to this next topic. You got what hoodie you got on? You got the Fabletics hoodie on?
Yeah.
So I had that same. We all have that same setup, right? And so that particular brand is the Jamar Chase Fabletics brand. Right. And so I had that on one day, cooling and moving, and I was going to the Nike house for the Nike day party, the one you're supposed to meet me at, but you diverted and went somewhere else. It's all good. Listen, I had a great time.
I was hanging out with Carl Kanai that day.
Okay, it's all good.
And then I came to the Nike house. I
was gone by then. I was somewhere else.
What was you doing?
I was moving and grooving. I was moving and grooving. I went to see Muguletta. As my grandmother used to say, I went to see a lady about a horse.
Yeah, you wasn't there for a long time. It was a good time.
I went to see a lady about a horse. And so I got that sweatsuit on, and I'm coming around the corner. And the dude standing outside the Nike house, this sushi restaurant they was at, and he's like, "Oh man, that's a nice sweatsuit." I said, "Appreciate it, man." And as soon as I made the sharp left, who's standing there? Jamar Chase, and it was his entourage of people. And I was like, "Thanks, man, appreciate it." And I was like, "It's his brand." And he's like, "Oh man, it looks good on you, man. Appreciate that." And he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna send you some more stuff." And I was like, "All right, man, cool." And I just walked off. And I got in the elevator. I was like, "He don't know me. How he gonna send me some more stuff and he don't know me?"
I got you, dog.
You know his agent?
His agent is Zeke agent. Yeah, that's my dog.
Oh, well then, yeah, tell him hit me up because I need some more of that.
His agent is Zeke agent.
God, bet. All right, so
that's family.
Yeah, send that to me. Don't tell them don't send me no more red ones because those don't play well for the camera. They don't play well. Don't send me no more of the red stuff. They don't.
You look like a cone, man. Everybody was killing you with their red.
They don't play well
brother.
for the camera, man. All right, but the Cowboys, with their new hiring, and it's even kind of started last year. When you think about the hiring of Brian Schottenheimer, that was one of those hires where, if we're being completely honest, a lot of us kind of was like scratching our head, like, they didn't really go out on a search like that. They ain't really kind of do their due diligence, and they got the guy who was down the hall, right? And so they hired Brian Schottenheimer, and they let Brian Schottenheimer kind of field his own offensive team. And so they then fast forward to this year, fire Matt Eberflus, and then they bring in a youth movement, something that we didn't quite think that the Cowboys would do, but they bring in Christian Parker, who is young, 34 years old, defensive coordinator. We all know his history. If you don't, look it up. And then Christian Parker was given full reign to bring in the people who he wanted to bring in, whether that's Marcus Dixon, whether that's Smith. Here it is, Marcus Dixon, Brian Bing, Simmons. I'm not going to try to pronounce that name. Derek Ansley, Ryan Smith, Thompson, Muschamp, Clark, Smart, all of these guys, relatively young, not even relatively, really young coaching staff that is under the headship of Christian Parker. And Clarence, you brought up the question. With such a young defensive staff, defensive coordinator is 34 years old. I think the oldest guy on his defensive staff is 41 years old, relatively young across the board. Do you think that a veteran coach needs to be hired and brought in to go match with Christian Parker, maybe as a confidant, maybe as someone to just bounce ideas off? Do you think they need to go and hire a grizzled dude to come in and help Christian Parker?
Need is a strong word. I think it's something that they're considering, something they're interested in doing, because it's not even just Christian Parker. I mean, who's the sounding board for Schottenheimer? You know, he don't really have a older coach. I mean, where's
his dad calling it down from the heavens above?
Sir.
You don't believe in the Holy Spirit? You don't think the Holy Spirit can talk to him?
I do, and I guess he's been around long enough where he's an old coach, but he's still a first-year coach. So I think that there's some guys. I mean, Mike Pettin, who is one of Christian Parker's, I guess, mentors, so to speak, who actually brought him into the league when he was defensive coordinator in Green Bay, when he's joined there as the quality control coach. He's been offered a spot. He hasn't taken it, but he's been offered, I guess, a consulting spot, and I think that's out there. You know, so I think, you know, maybe a Pete Carroll, you know, maybe somebody like that, you know, to help not just Parker, but also Schottenheimer. Maybe you have a veteran assistant head coach or somebody like that you bring in. I think that's on the table. It hasn't happened yet. You know, I talked to the people from the Cowboys, and you know, they did hire. The last hire was Scott Simmons, the SMU defense coordinator, who's joining the team as the inside linebackers coach. One thing I told that other day, when you have outside linebackers coach, you got to hire inside linebackers coach. You got an inside linebackers coach. You got an outside linebackers coach. Sound like a 3-4 to me. Sound like a 3-4 to me. You don't do a inside linebackers coach and an outside linebackers coach when you got a 4-3. At least my experience. You know, it sounds like a 3-4. If you're doing inside linebacker coach, outside linebackers coach, you do things like that. So Leslie Frazier, the assistant head coach, veteran defense coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks. You know, they brought a guy in, they hired Mike McDonald, but he hired an older coach to come in and who's been a defensive coordinator around the league, won a few Super Bowls as a defense coordinator, assistant coach. And he's their assistant head coach on their staff. So it's not unprecedented when you have a young staff to bring in a grizzled veteran, older coach to come in and have someone as a sounding board, not necessarily to come in and oversee, but a sounding board, you know, and Parker, listen, much as you love his potential, you know, again, as I said, and people in the chat love it, the Cowboys are betting on the come, okay? That is that thing. That is that word. Get your minds out the gutter. They're betting on the come. They're betting on the future. They're betting on the upside. They're betting on his potential. He's considered a rising star, but he hasn't done it yet. It's all, we're projecting. We're projecting on what he can do when he runs his own shot. But, you kind of, it makes sense to have a sounding, but it makes sense to have a veteran coach, not necessarily somebody that can kill your joy, so to speak, because a lot of times old people kill joy. I'm all got it like that. No, you can't. We didn't do it back. No, you don't want somebody to kill your joy, but you want a sounding board. And I think that's something they're considering. I don't know if they're going to do it, but when I talk to people after that at it, Scott Simmons, the SMU defensive coordinator who left the defensive coordinator job, SMU done a great job, rising star as well, to come in to be the inside linebacker coach, to go with our guy. Now you didn't want to say his name, Chidero. Let me say it right, so you didn't want to say it.
What are you doing?
Chidera Uzi Deribe.
What are you doing? Get your hand off this.
Hey, man, I had to go find my thing.
This is why we can't never have nice things with you. This is why we can't never have nice things with you. We're doing a live show, and you go and you stick your hand.
I was toggling because you know what? Because I got a touch screen computer, and I was toggling over to another. And listen,
you can't.
Listen, I need you not to just go off the rails without.
The people can see your hand. Your hand.
That's okay.
Oh my. Okay. All right. So you want my answer to this? My answer to this, and I saw it earlier from Chris. Let them cook. I don't want no old folks around nothing. If Christian Parker, if he needs to consult somebody, he got the number to Vic, to Vance.
Now Vic ain't gonna help him. Vic ain't gonna help him. Vance ain't gonna, they competitive. They ain't gonna help him.
Yes, they will.
Not during the season.
Yes,
Vic is a direct competitor.
Stop it, man. Stop it.
Well, what's good for the Cowboys is not good for the Eagles. Vic is loyal to the Eagles. If
Vic's young understudy, because this kind of helps. This kind of helps Vic too. If Christian Parker goes and have success, then that goes back to saying, "Wow, look at the tree that Vic Fangio has built." And now people look at that and go, "This is a guy who I want to have around my younger guys in another organization to build up some guys." So it makes Vic look good too. We, and I think this is sometimes when you still live in that old ice age, that old prehistoric age type thing where guys don't consult other guys during the season. Yes, if Christian got on the phone and called up Vic and said, "Man, I got this issue with, man, how do I reach this kind of player right here?"
Vic old school, dog. So you hate on old people. You're gonna get old. You're getting old. So I say all that great. You gotta quit hating on old folks in old ways. You got all that. You sound that great. You sound that great. You sound that great. You got man. We in this. Listen, we both unks. Okay,
we're not both unks.
We are both.
We're not.
Yes, we are. We both. No, I'm unk. I'm Uncle Daddy. I'm Uncle Daddy.
But all right, cool. Then don't call Vic. Then I'll call Brian Flores. Brian Flores is gonna want to help a young black brother out. I'm gonna call Vance Joseph. He's gonna want to help a young black brother out. There's enough people that he has had.
Okay, I'm just saying, don't think he's gonna work. Well, Brian Flores don't play well with others. Let's be honest with that. That's the word on Flores. But Vic is not gonna help him.
He call Wade.
He called my boy Wade Phillips. Bring in Wade. Bring back Uncle Wade. That's my dog.
I like Coach Wade. but no, to me, let these young boys cook, man. Let the new era have their way. And the best way to kind of learn sometimes, and how people don't want to know it happen for their team, but you got to get on-the-job experience, right? The only way you get better is to go through something. So you got to be able to go through something. And again, I believe that if something were to that he needed some help with, one of those three guys, I'm sure he could probably pick up the phone and be like, "Man, this is the situation. How would you handle that?" Maybe not the same week that they play in the Eagles, that Vic might not answer his phone. But yeah, man, if they week 12 and you're like, "Man, I got an issue." I truly believe that they like him enough that he's gonna be able to call somebody. I don't think they need a veteran coach. I think, you know what? Let the youth movement. Let them be youthful. Let them come in, make their mistakes, learn on the job. but let them have their way with it. Let them have their way completely with it.
Let them. That's the theory. You brought the book out. Let them play. You remember let them play? Let them play. Let them play. That came from our Bad News Bears breaking training back in the Astrodome back then. Remember Bad News Bears?
I do remember that. Let them coach.
Let them play. Let them coach.
I don't think a veteran coach needed. I don't think a veteran coach is needed. All right. Speaking of coaches, a list came out. 2026 head coaches that can potentially be on the hot seat. Is your head coach, the Dallas Cowboys head coach, on that list? We'll discuss it when we come back. Right up next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast. What's up, supporter clubs? True sicko level stuff. We love you all in the supporters club. I mean, you see the tags right there. Tote Cowboys, Ardell, Austin is in there. All these people that are in our supporters club, man, get your badge on. You see right there, once you become a part of the supporters club, you can use the emojis, the 88s, the bing bong, the dirt fadeaway, the pop, not unk, the pop. We probably gonna have to get rid of the brow because right now he's in DC, but you get to access to these exclusive emojis and more. So go ahead and sign up for the supporters club because we recognize you. J Phil, what up, J Phil? We recognize you. That's how you get our attention when we see you with that tag in the chat. I know that Clarence is always looking for the ladies in the chat. So, I mean, ladies, if you want to be extra noticed, just be a lady in the chat and then be a supporters club in the chat. That'll definitely get you noticed by Pop because he's always looking. We want your support. We want to be down with you. We want you to be down with us in the supporters club. So sign up for the supporters club today so that we can recognize you. Like I said, Ardell and the rest of the crew. Dro Nose is in there. There's Pop right there. There's Ardell right there in the supporters club right there. J Phil, supporters club right there. Be a part of the supporters club, man. Sign up today. Like show us you are a true sicko, man. I already know some of y'all are absolutely crazy. MD Rowe is in there. There we go. Chris Rendon is in there. These are people, man. This is the people that we recognize, we know, and we love. So join the supporters club each and every day so that we can have you in the chat, be a part of our group, show us that you truly care about what we do. We need you guys. We need the support. So sign up for the supporters club today. John, I think I'm at 33-32, so I got about 12 more seconds. I'm going to keep talking about this. Sign up. You guys love us. If you don't love us, then still sign up. Because if we don't get enough sign up, somebody's probably going to be fired. All right, man. Back to the DLLS Cowboys podcast. Yes.
I need you to not be so exasperated. I just need you to not be so, man, talking about my nose. But I do got a confession. I am raw dogging today. I am raw dogging.
Dogging.
I'm at home.
Dogging.
They said in the chat, I'm dogging. But you said it was okay at home, right? Remember we talked about this?
I didn't say
I'm not in the streets.
Yeah, as long as you're not in the street.
I had to put some clothes on to get ready for the shows. I threw the hoodie on real quick. I don't sleep with nothing. I don't sleep with no shirt on. Excuse me.
Why? Why must you be this? Why must you be? I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm dogging myself because I'm at home too. Now, once I leave the house,
why we gotta see the tap, man? See, you ain't slick, man. You're not slick, man. Why you trying to show the pecs? I see what you're doing. Stop it.
What do you want me to do, bro?
Don't make me take my shirt off.
No, please. That's two supporters club law right there. All right. So there's a list that came out. John, who made this list? John, what this list was? NFL Network? Fox Sports. All right. Fox Sports made a list of the top 10 coaches on the hot seat. Aaron Glenn of the New York Jets, Nick Sirianni. A lot of you want Nick Sirianni fired. Todd Bowles of the Bucs, David Canales of the Panthers, Zach Taylor of the Bengals, Shane Steichen. What else Shane Steichen's coach for? I forget. The name broke my mind. Kevin O'Connell, Dan Quinn, the coach. Yes, the coach. Dan Quinn, Matt LaFleur, And at number 10, the Dallas Cowboys head coach, Brian Schotty Schottenheimer. Is this a list that Brian Schottenheimer should be on, Clarence? Or are they just putting him on there because it's a Cowboy thing and you got to put him on there because Cowboys get your clicks? So is Brian Schottenheimer presumably a coach that could be on the hot seat? Now, I will say this. The Cowboys hadn't fired a head coach after the 2 seasons since Chan Gailey, right? Chan Gailey back in the day. Historically, Jerry Jones has been a very patient owner when it comes to the head coaches. A lot of times people don't agree with it. People say, hey, get Jason Garrett 10 years and 5 years for Michael from Pittsburgh. And some people want to kind of pull the lever on certain things. But to Jerry Jones's credit, he's a patient dude. Is Brian Schottenheimer name on this list a realistic thing? Is it fair, or is it just fodder?
You know what? We never let stuff go. I don't let stuff go. Just to bring it full circle back to your word choices earlier. I'm not here for a long time. It's a good time. That fits, and Jerry saying, I don't have time to have a bad time. Theoretically, historically, Jerry's been a patient man. But they missed the playoffs his first year, and they fired the entire defensive staff. If they missed the playoffs another year, in year 2, connect the dot. I mean, I don't know how you, and I brought this up before with the young coaching staff. You want to let the young guys cook. Does they give him more of a runway or less of a runway? You got to, I mean, there's no way Christian Parker, listen, I would hope it happens. The Cowboys hope that we're betting on it, but it just doesn't make sense, theoretical sense, historical sense, that a young first-time coordinator, a lot of first-time coaches, going to be at his absolute best his first time out. There will be some growing pains. Naturally, there's some growing pains, right? That's going to come with this process. We hope there's not, but there will be some growing pains. Christian Parker will be a better defense coordinator in year 10 than year 1. Be a better defense coordinator in year 2 than year 1. Be a better defense coordinator in year 3 than year 1. Will he have the chance to grow into that spot? And it's based on what have you done for me lately? It's based on the 1-loss records, based on the success. If the Cowboys don't make the playoff, and they don't improve, and we're talking about year 31, 32, since that little Super Bowl drop, I'm not here for a long time. It's a good time, but I'm not having a good time.
No, I'm right there with you. And does Schotty deserve to be on this list?
Deserve? He the Cowboys coach.
I'm 50-50 because
did he deserve to get the job? Did he deserve? I mean, when you use the word deserves, let's just I'm just deserve ain't got nothing to do with it.
What's love got to do with it?
It deserve. I mean, it is what it is. You're the Cowboys coach. You didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
We love the vibes.
I think if Jerry Jones stays true to what he said and that he's going to crack the budget this offseason and I guess put resources out there and that particular team doesn't go to the playoffs, then that thing is on fire. Now, yes, he didn't make the playoffs last year, but he was also on this staff as the offensive coordinator under Michael from Pittsburgh when that team didn't make. So it's 2 years in a row that the Cowboys, didn't make the playoffs. He was on that staff before with Mike McCarthy. So, I mean, so he still has some play in the Cowboys not being successful over the last couple of years, whether it be head coach or whether it be offensive coordinator, right? So I think
he dirty Mac Mike, though. You know he dirty Mac Mike a little bit, though. He dirty
you
Mac
think
Mike.
he did? You think he pulled a Jason Garrett?
Come on. He was offensive coordinator. Hey, Jerry, I was calling them plays. That's what Jerry said. We want Mike. We want Schotty calling the plays because it's going to be different than Mike. Had to be a little dirty Mac. Mike said, if I can't call the plays, I'm not to keep.
He couldn't have dirty Mac them too much because, I mean, they did offer him a contract, right? Like they offered him.
According to Jerry, they offered him a contract with the stipulation that Schotty was calling the plays.
Okay. Well, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I don't get myself involved in the dirty macking. That's one of your specialties. So you would know it better. You would be able to watch and see Dirty Mackin from afar because you got the Dirty Mackin radar. I don't know about Dirty Mackin. It's not in my DNA. Not something I partake in. But I do think that I don't know. I don't want to say he's on the hot seat this year. It's warm though. It's warm.
Yeah, it's really warm.
This year, you can't have another year where, especially if you sign back George Pickens and CD's healthy and Dak is healthy and you put some assets on the defensive side of the ball and you come up short. I even think even if you make the playoffs and you have a first round exit, I think that puts fire under your seat because again, that's something that we should be tired of that. Like we should be tired of not winning the division or even winning the division and having a first round loss. That should be enough to definitely put your seat on fire. I think the seat should be a little bit warm. And if Jerry is staying true to his word, right? And I say that in the sense of if he's changing the thought process, and we'll talk about that in the next segment of how he's dealing with coaches. If he's truly turning the corner and doing an about face and going a different direction than he's done before, maybe that leash is a little bit shorter. Maybe the Sandman comes out with the hook and yanks that coach off the stage after year 2. And he says, you know what? I'm not having a good time and I'm not here for a long time. Whoop, somebody else has to come in here and do something. So I don't, he ain't paying top dollar for the coaches anyway. So that money can go ahead and go somewhere else. I need to go get a guy in here because I'm not having a good time and my clock is ticking. My physical clock is now ticking. So we'll see how that goes. But I think being a little warm seat for Brian Schottenheimer in year 2, not a bad thing.
I will look at this, and you look at the NFC East, and you have to start with the division. Who should be the favorite next year? Eagles are falling apart.
They're the favorites. They're the favorites until they aren't. They did something that hasn't been done in 20-something years, right? They won back-to-back division titles, right? So, I mean, until they aren't, they should be the favorite.
Okay, but we know the Cowboys probably should have beat them twice this year.
They did.
They beat them once. They beat them once.
I should have scored a touchdown. I didn't. Right? You supposed to have that. You supposed to have a body. You don't,
sir. Why are we doing it? Why y'all always making it personal, man?
My bad. What? Tap's chest. My bad.
Really? You're not sincere with that. You're not sincere with that. But I'm just saying, if I look at the division, and I don't know what to make of Washington, with their quarterback, new offensive coordinator. The Giants got a new coach, and I'm not as high on their quarterback and running back as a lot of people are. With the Cowboys' offense, they improve on defense. I think they have a chance to be the best team in the division next year. I think they have a chance to be the best team in the division next year. And so, but it's getting to the playoffs enough. They should be a playoff team, right? We'll get into playoff. They have a tough schedule. The schedule is tough. Tough schedule, and so, I don't think 7-9-1 or 7-9, whatever it is, 7-10, gonna cut it.
Yeah.
To get you another year. It shouldn't. We can't be talking about we're improved and we're gonna get them there. We tired of waiting for next year.
I know that's why I believe that a little bit of warmth underneath that seat is necessary, and because if Jerry is going to be true to what he says and he adds assets to this defense, what more you want? You know what I'm saying? You got all the players that you asked for. If that doesn't yield you being able to go out there and make the playoffs and make a deep playoff run, I don't know what will. I don't know what will now because I can't change 53 players. I gave you more players. The only other thing I had to do is keep rotating coaches until I find one that gets us there. That's what it comes down to, right? Because I don't have the luxury to rotate players in and out of the alignment every single year. Yes, the roster turns over. I'm talking about top-end talent. The only thing left now is I got to go and find the guy that can get us over the hump. I don't know if hot seat is the right term for Brian Schottenheimer this year. A little bit warm. That's where I sit with that.
The term before we get to break is how we start the show. Not here for a long time. It's a good time.
That's what Jerry said.
We need a good. Jerry wants a good time. Jerry wants some glory hole.
All right, man. I will take our last break of the show. When we come back, we'll break into an article with Jerry Jones speaking on the new philosophy and the way that he's approaching, I guess, his tenure now as the general manager, president, and owner of the Cowboys, and why he went the way that he went on the coaching. Coming up next on the Cowboys DLLS podcast. What's going on, folks, man? We talked about being a part of the Sicko Club, but now I want you guys, man, to not the respect shirt, not the Carl Kanai hat, man, but become a member, man. Become a die hard. The QR code is right there in the corner of the screen. You click on that, you sign up to be a die hard, man, and the perks begin to roll in. Here's what you get. You sign up to become a die hard, and with that sign up, you get access to a free t-shirt. Now, if you missed the Super Bowl pricing, tough luck, but it is worth it because you get a free t-shirt, get the Stay Sightsy shirt right there. We all have that shirt. If you're a Cooper Flag fan, Pleasant Allegiance to the Flag, FLAGG. That's a dope shirt. Can't wait to get that shirt. I got some sneakers that'll go perfect with that shirt. And if you don't, like I said, once you get your free t-shirt, becoming a member, you get your carrying card, but you also get a discount on other merchandise, hoodies, hats, sweatshirts, the 88 Club t-shirt, the Dem Boys t-shirt. You can get anything that you want from the merchandise with a discount. So you can buy one for you. Look at that hat right there. Old school Cadillac hat right there with the rope across. You never know. You might need that rope. All of selections right now, the branded Bills hat that we use, good quality hats that you can go and get one of those. So sign up to be a member today. That also gets you in the Discord where we talk about many different things, food and wrestling. I'm working on 2026 getting a feet page in there because, I mean, why not? Listen, this is a free country. If you like feet, if you appreciate feet, you appreciate feet. That's just what it is. But recipes are in there, a multitude of things that you can get in being a diehard, man. So don't wait any longer. Sign up today to become a diehard. You can get merch. You can talk to us. You get a special event that we're going to have, watch-alongs. All that happens when you become a diehard member. So head on over there and sign up today. All right, welcome back to the Cowboy DLS podcast. Jeff is out today, so you get me. You get Messy, Clarence. Yeah, you're the messy one. You're the messy one.
They call you Messy Jesse for the reason.
You didn't change hat in every segment. You changed hat in every single segment.
Man,
that you changed hat.
That hoodie was making my head sweat. It was hot.
Then you put the other Carl Kanai hat on, the dad hat, and now you got the
well,
pop-up.
Well, because you were talking about, I was showing off our gear, our quality gear. So we don't put this on. It's all in my. I'm trying to figure out that picture up in right behind your right shoulder.
This one,
like a stick. Yeah, the other one at top. It's like a painting.
Yeah.
What uniform is that? Because there ain't no Cowboy uniform.
That is a Cowboy uniform.
Okay, it looks black. Okay, now it's better. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Shout out to my boy Cut by Jones. He made this for me right here.
That's nice.
He made this for me. This was after the play in San Francisco, so. This is pretty dope, my boy Cut by Jones. So I can't put it back up there now. But I put that up there. So yeah, that's a dope picture. If you need a picture like that, Cut by Jones can get you right. All right. So article came out from probably the third best beat writer.
Damn.
Second? Let me call him first. He does. He get the first question in the press conference.
Why you doing this? Why you starting, man? Why are you starting?
He get the first question in the press conference.
Of the old dudes,
Calvin.
Of the old dudes, he had the third longest tenure. Me, then Todd, then Calvin.
He gets the first question.
That's because he works for the morning news, and Cowboys in bed with the morning news.
I got you. I hear you.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
I hear you, man. Calvin Watkins of the Dallas Morning News got a chance to speak with Jerry Jones and talk to him about the philosophy on hiring former head coaches. And he said, like Ray, he said, I spent a lot of time looking at the past. When I look at the coach situation, I did less of whatever I've been doing in the past and a lot more of what I've been doing in this process. I probably put too much emphasis on the individual place in my life, their individual place in their profession, and should be more attentive to what's coming out of the box today. And that's all that counts is tomorrow. And then that's Jerry Jones talking about why he took this approach on hiring younger, right? Not because normally he goes, I need former head coaches, I need guys who have stripes, skins on the wall, and I need guys who've been in this league for a long time. But this way, he is looked at it and said, I'm going to change my ways, my old keys have not been opening up the new doors. And I heard this is on the change of the hiring process. Schotty had that last year. Certainly, the emphasis was more on his input because we had Flus and had that opportunity, who we were on the same plays with him. But I think that was done with last year's process in my mind with the offense, and it was done in my mind. Well, how we're been doing it hadn't hit the mark. Let's operate on a little different basis. So he talked about that, and the first person I really heard say this was Patrick Nosey Walker on his show. And he talked about kind of Jerry watching Schottenheimer from a distance last year and just seeing like, you know what, Schotty, okay, pick your offensive staff, pick your guys and Clayton Adams and all the other guys offensively, and it worked, right? And he showed Jerry that the guys that I picked are guys of value, brought value to this football team. The guy that you picked did stink up the entire National Football League. So I think seeing that and Schotty being able to pick those guys and it worked, I thought Jerry kind of was like more so like, you know what? Okay, Schotty, I'm going to give you free reign to go and pick these guys, pick as you see fit. And Jerry has kind of basically stepped back and signed off on everybody that Brian Schottenheimer has brought in with this youth movement that he has on the defensive side.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it was born out of. Jerry has a history of hiring former head coaches, veteran coaches, because they have more in common as a comfort level there. They got a track record, and that's what he talked about. And, you know, that's what he changed, and he wouldn't give young coaches an opportunity, you know, and so it's always one reason why I'm going to get Mike McCarthy and some other guys. And, you know, he, again, don't want to talk to Ben Johnson and stuff like that. You know, it's a history going back, you know, to how he hires head coaches. You know, he didn't want to give young coaches those opportunities. He wanted to go former head coaches and things like that. It certainly went for the assistants, and he thinks that gives them more credit. You know, he talked about their station in life and all the other stuff. And so he looked back and saw that these former head coaches were not reacting to the new ways of the game, the new ways of the league. And that's what he talked about. You know, it's what's on the come. You know, it's about today, it's about tomorrow. It's not about what you used to do and how we used to do it. And he said that during the season, you know, when you go to those coaching meetings, Jerry's going to those coaching meetings, they couldn't get off on the field on third down. They had no answers. You know, they had no answers of how to combat these new offenses. And so that's what struck him. And listen, I love Schotty. I love the way Coach hired the coaches last year. He also had ace in the hole. He had Dak Prescott. He had CD Lamb. He had George Pickens. If the defense coordinator had a Dak Prescott, a CD Lamb in the prime of his career,
that's fair.
George Pickens in the prime of his career, that staff might have done a little better last year too. And
that's
as
fair.
we look at this new staff, look, the coaches is fine. We talked about, I love the process. We love the process. It matters a damn if you don't give them no players. Because Dak was successful. If you talked about other Mike McCarthy, he was a MVP runner-up under Mike McCarthy. Okay, you know, so Schotty had something to cook with. You know, let them cook. Schotty had something to cook with. He had an ace in the hole to cook with. So we can say, yeah, them young coaches he brought up, yeah. But we also talked about how that offensive line, we love Clayton Adams, we love what they did with the offensive line, but the offensive line was not great last year. And that made the offensive line look better than what it is because it was Dak Prescott, because of what he learned going back to Wade Wilson and Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy and John Kitna. You know, the things that he already had in his bag before Schotty came, before Clayton Adams came, and all this other stuff. And then you bring in George Pickens as a career year, and that ain't about the young coaches. George Pickens already had that. You know, that's him working with Dak and him coming in out of career. CD was already here, so it sounds good. And you know, whatever works. Certainly, Jerry needed to change. And again, as we talked about it, I've said this since we've been blue in the face. You have to change the process. You have to change how you do it. I remember asking Jerry, you know, when he fired Matt Eberflus, are you going to let Schottenheimer hire the coach? And he said, I run Venezuela. We're going to do it like we always been doing it, right? I'm Trump. I can do what I want to do. It's my thing.
I don't think he said that part. I think you added that part.
He did. He actually said, what did Trump say? I run Venezuela.
Okay.
That was his first answer. Okay. What did Trump say? I run Venezuela. So you can interpret it how you want to. I interpret it. I'm Trump. I do what I want to do. I'm Jerry Jones. This is my thing. Okay. And Trump does what he wants to do. And we're not getting political here, but he did change. He did change how he did sit back and let Schotty, you know, because he's, you know, initially he pushed back on that. No, it's always been a team, you know, group thing, and we're gonna do it like we always been doing it. No, he acknowledged he took a step back and he changed. I'm not saying I caused him to change. I'm just saying that the circumstances caused him to change. The situation caused him to change.
I think he did. I think the absolute collapse and failure of Matt Eberflus last year definitely was a cause and effect of him saying, I might have to go a different approach. I might have to take a different approach because that was bad. And we all know that Matt Eberflus was his guy. And that crash and burn situation with Matt Eberflus, that had to be a wake-up call for everybody in the Joneses family and in the front office, because it was bad. And at every turn when you thought it was, you know, he went and got Quinnen, and it felt like it was making a turn after one game, right, against the Raiders. And then it came right back down to earth. It was like, this ain't it. It didn't matter whether you got Kenny Clark or Quentin, and you got guys coming back. You had Overshown come back and Rebel come back, and then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So this thing got so deplorable that I think at the end of this year, it was, all right, let me give. And maybe Schotty went down there and was like, hey, boss, you know, let your boy spin. Let your boy Booby spin. And let's see what it is. All right. John, this super chat right here. It says Schotty shouldn't be penalized for this season. He had top 2 offense and saddle the defense. DC couldn't pick up the defense. Let Schotty cook. Pretend it's his first year. Sorry, can't. We
30-year drought.
We can't.
30-year drought.
We can't. That he is. It goes on his record as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. In his first season, he was 7-9-1. We can't just let that pass. He was a part of that. He didn't press upon enough. You know, it wasn't until week 14 he was like, all right, bro, you got to go up to the booth. It wasn't until week 13 when he was like, yeah, I'm spending more time with the defense. So, sorry. I mean, that's on his ledger. That's on his ledger. He doesn't get a chance to get a pass because of that. He got to own that.
No take backs, no give back. No take backs, no give back.
Nah, they can't do that. So he has to sit there and he has to own that one. And now, you know, I think, and that's why I think the seat will be a little bit warm, because now he has his guy, and Jerry's gonna be looking down there like, all right, this your guy, this your people, this your dude. So if things ain't going right, I'm coming to see you. I ain't even coming to see him. I'm coming to see you, because you probably talked me out of doing what I normally like to do, and taking this approach. And because of that, now I don't want us to look bad again. This is going to be a conversation that you and I are going to have, and that's why I think a little bit of warmth underneath that seat might go an absolute long way. All right, man, we appreciate you. Wow, wow.
You got to take the glasses off. You got to take the glasses off, G.
Wow.
Hey, doggy.
That's it.
I need that, G. I need that. Take the glasses.
Everybody hit that like button on the way out. As Jeff would say, you never know what anyone's going through. So be kind to everyone. As I always say, eliminate the contingencies.